Chronic procrastination is the number one enemy to any serious progress in human life. A large number of people regret painfully every day for the many golden opportunities that they lost to chronic procrastination. A student who procrastinates is likely not to do well in their academics. A couple who procrastinates addressing the problems they are facing are likely to have a very strained relationship. A worker who procrastinates, a professional who procrastinates, is likely to have it very difficult progressing in their work or in their profession. Procrastination, as we've said, is the greatest enemy to any serious progress in human life. In our lesson today, I will try to teach on 5 ways that we can follow to break the procrastination cycle in our lives. 1. What is procrastination? Procrastination is avoiding to do a set activity because you consider it to be stressful, but instead you engage in another activity which you consider to be less stressful. The set activity is a very important activity, but the activity that one will distract themselves with is a less important activity or an activity that is not important at all. Over the years, people who procrastinate, students who procrastinate, workers who procrastinate are considered to be lazy. But this is psychologically not always the case. When a person is lazy, they report to be feeling low energy, low drive, and therefore they just sit around without doing anything. But for the case of procrastinating, one does not just sit around without doing anything, but instead they engage themselves in other activities which they consider to be less stressful. So they'll be so busy doing other things or so many other things. They are not just seated around doing nothing. And this is the difference between a person who is lazy and a person who is procrastinating. When you think about procrastination, it will be a big mistake if you see yourself to be a procrastinator and maybe you give yourself a name of the procrastinator. This will take away the power and the energy from you to be able to fix the problem, because you are making procrastinating to be your personal identity, which is very wrong. Instead of calling yourself a procrastinator, you better see yourself like a person who has a habit of procrastinating. When it is a habit, you can be able to fix it. Because a habit is learned, it can be unlearned, and it can be fixed. And therefore, when you see it to be a habit that you are having, you give yourself the power, you give yourself the energy and the motivation to be able to fix it. Getting to understand what procrastination is, and getting to see yourself like a person who procrastinates but not a procrastinator makes a big difference. And this will lay the foundation in our step number 1 in the whole process of breaking the procrastination cycle that could have been holding you back for so many years or for so many months. Number 2, what triggers your procrastination? You see, when you have this habit of procrastinating, you are not lazy, but what could be happening? Maybe you are stressed, maybe you are depressed, maybe you have a number of unfinished businesses, maybe you have a loss. You could be having something that is weighing so heavily on you psychologically. And therefore, even though it might not be in your conscious mind, subconsciously you have a bag of stress that is weighing you down. And therefore, when you sit down so that you can be able to execute a certain very important task, you feel you won't be able to do it now. Remember, you trust yourself so much, and if you have a project, for example, you know you can be able to do so well in the project, but now you're not feeling like you're in the right state to be able to start on the project, and therefore you push it forward to tomorrow. When tomorrow comes, the story is the same, and you push it to the next day. Now you'll end up sitting to do the project maybe a day to the day that you should be presenting the project, which will again make you not to do well in the project. You could be a student and you have your personal timetable, which is clearly stated that you should be doing this subject, this concept during this particular time. But when you sit down to do that, you feel you are not in a good state to do it, and therefore you distract yourself with other activities. Maybe you are waking up, walking out and doing whatever else, making noise, but not the very important task to do what is well stated on your personal timetable. You convince yourself that you'll do it in the next prep time, you'll do it tomorrow, and tomorrow the same story will repeat itself. You keep pushing it forward. So, when you get to identify that I have been setting to do A, B, C, D, but I'm not able to do it because there is something that is stressing me, you will start better chances of being able to break that procrastination cycle, maybe by addressing what is stressing you, or maybe by giving your mind a reality check that this particular problem cannot be solved now. Maybe it will be solved in the next 3 months, in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year. And therefore, because the problem will continue to be there, I won't allow it to hold me back from doing what I'm supposed to do. And therefore, I will be able to break this procrastination cycle that has been holding me back for so long. So in this step number 2, we are saying that the most important thing will be you identifying what triggers your procrastination. Number 3, what is your procrastination pattern? Whenever you sit to start on that project, whenever you settle to start on what is appearing on your personal timetable, whenever you are settled to start doing what is on your to-do list, to do that research that you are supposed to do, to prepare for that presentation, to start on that business you've been thinking about for so long, to advance on your career, and so on. But you see, there is a certain behavior or pattern that is forming. That whenever I'm getting settled to do this, I reach to my phone, I open on that car reviewing app because I love cars so much, and I want to see the last thing that I watched. A Lexus, for example, LX570 being compared to a Range Rover autobiography. And you can imagine now when you are on YouTube watching that and you complete that, YouTube will predict the next video for you to play, which will be the same content like what you're watching before. And therefore you click on it and you continue like that. An hour is gone, 2 hours are gone, 3 hours are gone. You don't even start on that very important task that you are to start on. Maybe another person will reach to their phone and open TikTok so that they can be able to watch some comical content on TikTok. And so they do. So they watch one, another one is predicted, they click on it, and they continue watching for hours, making them not to start on the activity which they were planning to start on. Some other people will open on their social medias. They'll see what people are posting, who is liking it, who is commenting, what are they commenting, and they spend hours and hours there. And therefore, they avoid starting on the very important task that they were supposed to do. People will hide themselves in so many things. Others will listen to music, others will watch plays. If it is a student in school, maybe they will start making noise. They will wake up, go to the toilet, go to another class, and they never get to start doing the very important activity which was there, well stated on their personal timetable. Now the most important thing here is you being able to identify this pattern, because this is the pattern that we want to break. This is the most important step in breaking this procrastination cycle. When you get to understand the pattern, then you are on top of your game, and you will be able to make the next step, which will be very important in this whole journey of giving you back your power and taking it away from that habit of procrastinating, which has been holding you back for so long. Number 4, breaking your procrastinating pattern or cycle. Now, when you've been able to identify that whenever I want to start on that very important task, whenever I want to start on my project, I reach to my phone so that I can open that car reviewing app. Now decide not to reach for that app and for your phone. If it is that TikTok or social media that you reach out to like a way of avoiding you starting on that very important activity, now decide not to do that. And instead of doing that, you see, you are making a very conscious effort not to reach for your phone, not to reach for your computer, not to start making noise in class, not to go to the toilet, not to walk out of the class and to the dormitory. You are making a conscious effort not to do that, because you've been able to identify that this has been my pattern, and now this is the particular pattern that you want to break. So instead of doing what you've been doing there before, now you decide to start on your project. Start on it. You decide to start on what appears on top of your to-do list. And when you start on it, psychology has it that if you're able to make your step to this level of starting, because many people never start. Now when you've started and you continue pushing on it, 8 out of 10 people will complete that task. That is about 80%, which is a very good percentage. You could be in this 80%. And therefore, when you're able to make that conscious decision of starting, you will start better chances of completing your task. If maybe you fall at the 20%, who will start and still not manage to complete, you can be able to retrain your brain when you attempt to repeat this same procedure, maybe 2, 3, or even 4 more times. And if still it cannot work, you can reach out to us and we can be able to readjust this approach so that it can be tailored to your particular situation and to your particular case of procrastinating every now and then. So, starting anyway, even though you are not feeling like starting, will be a great step towards breaking your procrastination cycle, which could be holding you back for so long. Number 5, what reward are you getting? Reward is very important when trying to reinforce a habit or a behavior. Reward is when you feel good about what you're doing or about what you've been able to achieve. When your brain releases a dopamine, the feel-good hormone that encourages you to go on and that encourages you to repeat several more times what you've been able to do, and you've managed to get that satisfaction deep within you. If, for example, you are a student who has been procrastinating for so long, your academic achievement could be poor. But now, when you're able to break that cycle and you start anyway, even though you're not feeling like, you are likely to improve in your academic performance, which will be a great reward. If in your place of work, you have that habit of not starting but procrastinating every now and then, but you break that cycle, now you will be able to do more, you will be able to achieve more, and probably you will be promoted, and this will be a great reward to you to be able to reinforce that habit of starting anyway, even though I'm not feeling like starting. In your career, you've been wanting to progress, advance in it, but you've been held back by this procrastinating habit. Now when you're able to break it, you can be sure that advancement, that development in your career will be able to give you back more achievement, and this will be so rewarding to you that you will be even desire to progress with the advancement even further. It could be in your business as well. And maybe, and now because you've been held back for so long, even the profit that you make from the business could be stagnating or too low as per the current times. But now, when you've been able to start on that, expansion you've been having, then you're able to get something more out of your business, and this will be more rewarding to you and making you desire even to do more in that particular business. It could be in your personal life. What have you been procrastinating on? It could be in your marriage life. Could you be having a problem that you never solve? You've been procrastinating solving or tackling the problems which are ailing your marriage for years and years. And now you have a heap of so many problems in your marriage. It could be in your parenting. Maybe you keep pushing forward and not to look into a particular issue that is challenging you. But now you decide to start now, to start addressing that which could be ailing your marriage or even your parenting. And with that, you're able to get better results. You get to have a happier marriage, happier parenting, and this will be rewarding by itself, encouraging you to do the same even going forward. So when you are able to identify this reward and you work on achieving more such rewards, you will be able to strengthen this new habit of starting anyway, even though I'm not feeling like, even though I'm feeling like procrastinating. I have 100 reasons to procrastinate. But now, because you are weakening that habit and you are strengthening that habit of starting anyway, you stand better chances of breaking that procrastination cycle, which could have been holding you back for years and years. When one is able to break the procrastinating cycle in their lives, and the young people are taught how to start anyway, trying as much as possible to avoid getting into the habit of procrastinating from a young age, especially during their foundation and formative years, they will grow up through their teenage into their adult life with a high level of starting anyway, even though they are not feeling like, and therefore they will lead a much better life, a much more successful life, a life that will be more rewarding, and a life with very minimal procrastinating, if any. Thank you.